Merhaba. Merhaba, does this mic work? Okay, cool. It's a pleasure to be back in Istanbul. I used to live in Istanbul and Alanya, Antalya many years ago, so it's an honor to be back. Per Helgosson is my name. I work with PSG. I head up everything Web3, everything Metaverse, everything blockchain, everything tokenization, and all the things that you put into this. But I'm not here really to talk too much about PSG, but rather I'm here to talk about what I call the super cycle, what is coming for all of you, for us as a sports club, and how we can look about what's coming. I call it the super cycle, and it's about building to really address and engage with what has already arrived. So the previous panels actually spoke a little bit about something about this slide. And the super cycle is something that for every business cycle, when there is a new technology coming, a new behavior coming, new regulations, new products, new services, new business models, things develop. What is interesting with this phase, what is interesting with this cycle is that for the first time in human history, we have generations being born with Wi-Fi, with mobiles. Generations are born when the definition of wallet is not something you have in your back pocket, a physical wallet, but it's actually something you have on your phone. And so what does that mean really for us in the Web3 and the crypto ecosystem, the blockchain ecosystem, and what does it mean for the sports vertical, for sports clubs that has a reach and a distribution power of hundreds of millions or billions of people? Well, it's quite interesting, to be honest. So the panel that you listened to regarding regulations, many of you in here might not like regulations, but it's almost like a necessary evil, if you will. You cannot unlock the addressable market if it's not regulated, if you don't have rules. And so the interesting thing here is that from now and 1 year moving forward, a year and a half maybe, I define it as this is the building period. This is where you want to learn, you want to explore, you want to find out what works for the next phase of the ecosystem developing. Because what worked before doesn't necessarily translate into the next phase. Some might, but many things won't. Now, there's a lot of acronyms here. MiCA regulations for EU. You have the MAS for Singapore. You have the SEC and CFTC for the US. What's going to happen coming 12, 18 months is that all of the financial markets is going to synchronize. So what does that mean? It means that there's so much money meeting and being unlocked regulations addressing what's on this side. All of the numbers you see on this side, the billions, and you could be off by 10, 20, 25% maybe. It might not happen 26, it might happen 27 or 28, but it doesn't matter when the addressable market is this big. But the way to unlock this is really through regulations. So the customers, the users, the Gen Zs, the millennials, the Gen As, they have already arrived, right? They're mobile, they're virtual, they play games. So they have already arrived. The big key to unlock this is regulations, right? And so what does brands do? What does sports clubs do? What do you do if you have 200 million, as PSG has, in their reach and distribution power? What do you do when our partner ecosystem with PSG, like the Nikes and the Qatar Airways and the GOATs, then we talk just for PSG, we have billions of people in our reach. So what does that mean, really? It means that this is, for the first time, this intersection happens. And so for many of you, it might seem obvious, but for, I think, most of it, it's not. So what does this really mean for sports clubs? Really global brands. What does this mean for us? How can we capture, how can we engage the billions of people already mobile, already having smartphones, already having the compute power to do virtual augmented experiences? They will have a wallet with tokens in their mobiles. So how do we capture them? How do we engage them? So I like to talk about the difference between communication, brand communication, versus communities. So you might have different ideas about this, but communication now for brands has been really broadcasting. Meaning I broadcast to all of you, but I can't really select you guys from you girls. And I can't select you from you. I can't single cast. I can't uniquely identify you, and I can't speak and I can't relate to you as a person. This is about to change. This is the cool thing, I think, with Web3, with the tokenization of things. You can uniquely track, you can uniquely verify, and you can create scarcity. This is the foundation of all economies. Now, from customer to fan economies. So customer in my world, I define customers as when you buy something from me, you're a customer. That's why you call them CRM system. You heard about this term, right? Customer relationship management. But what about fans? So at PSG, we have fans. We have customers who buy things, and we have fans that love our club. They love the club, the football, the stars, the brand, right? So this is the same way, it's the different. Well, for me and for us, it is. So fan, you do out of love. You do it despite what people think. You do it despite your colleagues and your friends. Maybe we have some Galatasaray, Fenerbahce fans here, and I'm sorry for you guys, but PSG is the brand for me. But the cool thing is, you do it out of love. You do it despite, whereas customer, you do when you transact. Before, during, and after you transact, and in between your transactions, you're always a fan, right? And so that's the engagement, that's the next phase for sports clubs, or for sports brand or global brands. So next generation of fans, we talk about that a lot at the club, because PSG is the youngest club. We have the youngest audience. They also need to be engaged in a different way. We need to engage them and provide them with the next generation of a loyalty engagement, of a fan loyalty, fan reward, fan engagement. You don't work with customers, you only work with fans. So if you differentiate the two, I think you're starting to get a feeling for what's the difference. Customers when you transact, fan is out of love. Fan you do in between, fan you do when you listen, fan is when you do when you engage, right? So for us, that means that for sport clubs, that means that for global brands, it means that you need to reverse the old idea about customer and fan loyalty. It's not about them being loyal to you, it's about you being loyal to them. And that's how I believe that you will capture and engage the next generation of fans, transform the next generation of customers into fans. And once you do, once you create that community, we talk about community a lot, the so-called utility, what they want and how they want it and when they want it and how they change over time will be much easier to address. Because they will tell you. And unlike before, the systems and the applications and the platforms that would cost $5–10 million to build, take years to build, you can simply integrate through APIs if you just design and build it smart. So we are, clubs are, empowered by superpowers, really. So I think everybody knows about ChatGPT and machine learning models and multimodal engagements, right? So coming back to this, I know I have a few minutes left. Going back, this is where the world is going, right? This is what you need to do to capture it. So with that, I think I have a few minutes left. I think we're running out of I think we extended our time, so I'm going to keep this short. Do we have any questions for me while I'm still here? No? No questions? All right, cool. So with that, we're done. Yeah. Thank you.